T-Bird fans, we welcome you to a brand new edition of T-Bird Talk. I'm Cloud County Community College Sports Information Director Toby Nosker. On this week's edition of T-Bird Talk, we'll have an opportunity to visit with two sophomore members of the Cloud County Community College wrestling team, Easton Boone and Mac Chambers. Both Boone and Chambers compete in the 174-pound weight class for Cloud County, and each have had a tremendous start to their 2024-2025 season. The Cloud County Community College wrestling team first took to the mat to open the season by competing in the Rochester Community and Technical College Yellow Jacket Open in Rochester, Minnesota on November 2nd. The T-Birds had four placers on the day, including Boone and Chambers. Chambers led the way for Cloud County, going 4-1 and finishing third overall at 174 pounds. Boone also competed in the 174-pound bracket, coming away with a sixth-place finish. The following weekend, at the Benedictine Service Salute in Atchison, Kansas, Boone recorded a first-place finish. He and Chambers were to meet in the final round before Chambers forfeited the match. Chambers ended up placing second overall at the Benedictine Service Salute at 174 pounds. And last weekend, the Cloud County Community College wrestling team competed in the Grandview Open in Des Moines, Iowa. Nearly 50 teams from all divisions and close to 70 wrestlers converged at the Ignite Sports Complex for a full day of competition. Both Boone and Chambers finished 5-2 on the day in the freshman and sophomore division. And up next for Cloud County, they head to Kearney, Nebraska this Saturday for the Eunice Hospitality Open. Matches will begin at 9 a.m. at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds. On today's edition of T-Bird Talk, we sit down with Easton Boone of Valley Center, Kansas, and Mac Chambers of Salina, Kansas. This is T-Bird Talk.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
This week on T-Bird Talk, an opportunity to visit with two members of the Cloud County Community College wrestling team, both of them sophomore returners to the T-Birds. Joining us, we have Easton Boone and Mac Chambers, and I thank you both so much for taking time to visit with us. And we'll talk about how the season has gone to this point so far and look ahead to the activities and action that's going to be taking place this weekend in Kearney, Nebraska. But Easton, real quick, let's just get to know you. So first off, tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Valley Center, Kansas.
So tell me a little bit about wrestling. How did wrestling enter the picture for you? How long have you been competing in wrestling, and why is this a sport that you're drawn towards?
My whole family's been wrestling, really. My dad and my uncle both wrestled in there in high school. My uncle was a state champ. My dad got second his junior year, and, it's just kind of always been in my family. My older brothers wrestled. Older brother went in JUCO. He was a two-time All-American. Both cousins wrestled D2, so yeah, it's just kind of always been in my family. So
you said all their accolades. How'd your high school career go?
I was a two-time placer, so I got third my junior year and then fourth my senior year. So, yeah.
And were you desiring always to want to be able to go on collegiately and be able to compete at the next level?
At first, I actually wanted to play baseball for a while, and then, I don't know, just kind of my love for the game wasn't really there, and then I loved wrestling more, so then my senior year just kind of flipped over to wrestling. Wanted to wrestle in college instead of play baseball. So
when you say you love wrestling, what is it about the sport that you're so attracted to? Tell me a little bit about its appeal and why you've gravitated more that direction.
I think it's because it's all dependent on you and what you do, and it's more of an individual sport, so you can't really blame anybody but yourself, and when you win, it's because of nobody but you. So I like this sport because there's really no excuse at the end of the match.
How did Cloud County Community College enter the picture?
Coach texted me, and he wanted to get to know me, and I wanted to get to know him. I liked him, and I really liked the program that he had, and I liked how many placers and how many good guys he had on the team. I saw Ebe. Ebe was doing really good at the time, so I saw him and then saw Pal, and that just kind of drew me here. Wanted to get in the room.
Do you feel like you made the right decision?
I think I definitely made the right decision, and now I'm finally starting to see more success, and it's starting to pay off a little more.
Another sophomore joining us is Mac Chambers. Mac, tell me a little bit about your background as far as it relates to wrestling. Where are you from?
I'm from Salina, Kansas.
Did you grow up wrestling all your life?
Yeah, so I probably started wrestling when I was around 8. My dad really got me into the sport. My whole family's from Iowa, and they all love wrestling. All my uncles wrestled. So yeah.
For you, what is it that you like the most about the sport itself?
Definitely getting your hand raised. That's a great feeling. Going out there, facing off against another wrestler, and then coming out on top. That's really rewarding.
So tell me about the decision for you to move on to the next level and compete collegiately. Was that something you were desiring to do?
Yeah. I mean, my dad really pushed me to just in like sports, and all my family pushed me in sports, and once I got the opportunity, I wanted to take that.
Tell me about Cloud County Community College, and why did Cloud stand out? Ultimately, why did you make the decision to become a T-Bird?
I talked to Coach, came on a visit, and I just really believed in Coach and his abilities and what he could teach me and how I could develop here. And yeah.
Like I asked Easton, you feel like you made the right decision?
Yeah, definitely. I think Coach has made me a million times better, just from everything that he's taught us. So.
Both of you, I know, were multi-sport athletes, didn't just focus on wrestling. There were other things that you competed in. Making that leap, Easton, to college, where now it's full-time wrestling. What was that transition like from you making that jump from high school to college, and was that difficult to kind of handle? Because now I often talked about, with high school coaches and following the high school season about how much of a grind it is, but it's almost amplified and becomes even more extreme at the collegiate level. Was that tough for you to deal with?
I don't think it was too tough for me to deal with. I was always doing, 2 to 3, sometimes 3 sports at a time, going 2-3 practices a day. And, that's a lot of work. That took a lot of time. And I feel like wrestling is the same way, but it's more just all focused on wrestling now. So it still takes a lot of time, still a grind, but now all that focus on wrestling, and I really like it.
Mac, for you, how did you feel like you handled that transition?
It was different. Kind of like Easton, I was playing sports year round, baseball, wrestling, football. So I was used to having a lot of practices, but it was nice transitioning to college. Instead of focusing on 3 sports, all your time is dedicated to 1 sport. So you're just really getting better, putting all your effort into that.
And I know for both of you, you've wrestled at a pretty high level, but Mac, I guess for you, you come into the practice room now at Cloud, and maybe in high school you might have been, one of the best 2 or 3 guys, year in, year out in your practice room. Now you're going up against those guys every single day who were also the best, in their practice room in high school. So tell me a little bit about that, just on a daily basis, getting in the room with guys that, can sometimes be just as talented, if not more talented than you.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Iron sharpens iron. So when we get all these guys in here and we're all going at it, it makes all of us better, and I enjoy it.
Easton, was that tough for you? I mean, it's almost like even in the practice room, you can't really take a day off, right?
No, yeah, for sure. It's definitely really intense, and it makes the room more intense. Everyone hates getting taken down. No one likes that feeling. So when one guy takes you down, it really kind of makes you mad, makes you want to go out there and get it back.
Both of you were national tournament qualifiers a year ago. Easton, take me back to your freshman season then, and how did you feel like your first year went as a T-Bird?
At the national tournament, I felt like I was at the top of my game. When I went in there, I had a really tough first match, and I knew that going in. I think I was a little bit I psyched myself out a little bit, went in there, and that was the first time I got pinned all year. It was pretty quick. It wasn't a really good match. And then, came all the way out to the backside, all the way to the blood rounds, right to where I would have placed. And ran into another pretty good guy. And, it was tough. It was tough for me to handle, but, made me work harder over the off season. I really think I'm ready to come back and place this year.
I want to talk a little bit more about that, the off season and some of your goals coming into this season. But were you pleased overall with how your freshman season ended up?
I wouldn't say pleased. All-Americaning is always a goal for me, and I didn't do that. So I would say I wasn't really pleased. I lost a couple of matches I shouldn't have lost because I didn't shoot enough, So I would say I'm a lot more pleased with how this year is going, and I wasn't really pleased with last year.
Mac, for you, how do you feel like you grade yourself and how you performed your freshman season?
I think I definitely got a lot better overall as a wrestler, but I wasn't really satisfied with the outcome of the season. I think I'm definitely got a lot better, and I'm still getting better. And hopefully this year we can come out with an All-American.
Do you feel like having had a year under your belt, that entering the off season and in preparation for this year, did you approach things any differently, knowing that, okay, I know this is now what it takes, this is the level that I want to get to, so I know what I have to put into this?
Yeah, definitely. Last year I kind of felt that I wasn't as strong as a lot of the other kids that I was wrestling, so I really focused in the weight room in the off season, and also coming back as a sophomore, you have a lot more confidence. You're not the new guy; you're kind of more seasoned, and you know what to expect and what you need to do to get the job done.
Easton, you felt like you had a pretty good off season. What did the off season and the workouts look like for you?
My freshman year during the off season, I really focused on lifting and not as much on conditioning. I feel like that kind of showed in my matches that I wasn't as conditioned this off season. Focused a lot on conditioning and lifting, and I think it really shows in my matches that I'm a lot more conditioned, not gassing out.
We talk a lot in sports. There's the physical aspect, but then the mental side of it, right? And Mac just mentioned, feeling more confident now, having that year under his belt. Did you feel like mentally you were coming back this year in a better place than maybe where you started out a year ago?
Definitely. You just kind of learn how to deal with the nerves. Some people say you don't get nervous anymore. I still get nervous for every match, but it's definitely more of a controlled nervous. You're nervous, but you're not freaking out, and you just kind of use it to help you wrestle.
Mac, because you guys have that year of experience, what was the conversations like with Coach Smith, Coach Clopton, coming into this season? What have they asked of you guys as sophomores as far as kind of being leaders in the practice room, showing the newcomers what this program's all about? Tell me a little bit about that, and as far as having to be a leader, is that a role that you're comfortable taking on?
Yeah, he was really just kind of adamant on showing the freshmen how hard we practice, how hard we lift, just really giving effort in every aspect and leaving nothing on the table, just going all in on the program. So.
Easton, for you, do you feel comfortable stepping into a role as a leader?
Yeah, I definitely feel comfortable. I like knowing all my guys, just trying to help everybody, trying to make everybody better.
As I said, it's a grind, not just the season itself. When you officially start practices October 1st, season stretches all the way into March. But I know there was, conditioning and workouts and things that you all have been doing. Easton, is that tough to balance? Because you've also got your studies, you're still a student, all of those sorts of things that you're still juggling. But it's almost like, once you come here and compete, that becomes a full-time job in a way. So tell me a little bit about balancing that and how you feel like you've handled that so far.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, balancing school and all the off-season training. But, you get done with the off-season, you still have plenty of time to do all your school. You can still get it done. There's really no excuse for not getting it done, Just giving the effort, getting it done, then still have plenty of time to do whatever you need to do.
Mac, 4 of you back from a year ago with that national tournament experience, but a lot of newcomers coming in this year with the team. How do you feel like, as a whole, the freshmen have kind of handled the transition, and do you feel like they've figured things out and are in a pretty good position as the season gets started here?
Yeah, there's definitely some guys that are a little bit ahead of the other, like figuring it out wise. It's a really hard transition coming from high school to college, because like at high school tournaments, you're the best guy at the tournament, most likely. So, and you'll really only have one hard match in the finals or maybe the semifinals. But here in college, every tournament, it's a grind, every single match. Everyone's here for a reason. You just got to outwork the other guy.
You really haven't gotten into the dual season yet. I know you competed at the Loose Sprock duels in Atchison, part of a 2-day stint that you guys were there in Atchison for events hosted by Benedictine College. Went 2-2 in dual competition there. Otherwise, it's just been open kind of invitationals and meets to this point. Which do you favor, Easton? Do you like... you kind of talked about it earlier. You like wrestling because you can be individualistic, but do you like when you guys are in the dual formats that you're able to kind of cheer on the rest of your team and there's a team score being kept and you guys as a whole want to represent Cloud County and pick up a win? Or do you like these tournaments like this past weekend where you can get 6 matches in against schools of all various sizes and guys that are so talented that you can run up against? What's your preferred format?
If there's something to win, I want to win it. If it's an individual match, if it's a duel, like I want to win the duel. I hate losing duels. I hate losing team duels because then, they think they're better than us. But winning a duel with your friends, cheering your friends on, getting those points, that's winning duels is one of the most fun things. And I think with all the guys we got on their team this year, I think everyone's hungry. I think we're all ready to win, and I think we can win a lot of duels this year.
Because, Mac, when you get to some of these big-size tournaments, you don't often get to watch your other teammates, right? You're focusing on what you need to do, getting ready. You may be competing on one mat while somebody else is competing on another, so you don't get often an opportunity to get that team aspect early on in the year.
Yeah, kind of like Easton and me, we're always wrestling at the same time. And so I never really get to see Easton wrestle, and same goes for him. He never gets to really see me wrestle at these tournaments. But, I love duels. It's great having our team beat another team. It's really rewarding, and I like duels, the duel format better.
Both of you have been wrestling so far this season at 174 pounds. Both had really successful starts to the year. Separate from the results so far, I'm assuming the two of you, even though you don't get to see each other wrestle much at these meets, spend a lot of time facing off against one another in the practice room. So Easton, kind of tell me what it's like to have Mac as somebody that you can kind of work with, or to know that there's another guy that, again, has had a great season so far, can really push you and challenge you on a day-to-day basis.
Having Mac as a wrestling partner is, it's great. It helps elevate both of our games, but, it's also super annoying at the same time because, we can't really ever take each other down. We're always sitting there, we're shooting, we're scrambling. Taking each other down, it's a big thing in practice. It doesn't happen very often. So, it definitely makes us a lot better, though, for sure. I love having him there. Definitely makes us both a lot better.
Mac, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Easton. We're always scrapping. None of us want to lose, so in the practice room, we're both just pushing each other, making both of us better. And it's great to have someone like-minded like that in the room. And I feel like everyone in our room is like that. No one wants to get taken down or lose. We're just getting better.
Now, earlier this year, I was in Atchison at the Benedictine Service Salutes, and both of you ended up making the finals at 174 pounds. Now, ultimately, you didn't end up wrestling each other, and I know, Mac, you were dealing with, I think, a little bit of an injury that you decided, it just wasn't worth risking. So you went ahead and took second. Easton ended up claiming first. Would you have liked to have had that match?
I don't think it would have really affected anything. We wrestle all the time in the room. But yeah, it would have been cool to wrestle Easton in an actual match with a real ref.
Don't you want to go back to the practice room with bragging rights over him, though?
Yeah, I definitely would have held that over his head.
Easton, you missed an opportunity where you guys could have, done it for real, instead of just in the practice room.
I mean, yeah, I would have liked it, but, he was hurt, and, I don't want to take a victory while he's hurt. I mean, it wouldn't mean anything to me.
How do you feel like you've wrestled so far this season?
I feel like, definitely right now I'm doing pretty good. I think I've been winning a lot of matches, even when I lose sometimes, I feel like I'm right there. I'm really liking this season so far. I feel like I'm hitting my moves pretty clean.
Mac, I talk about this a lot, but one of the things I love about college wrestling, kind of similar to, other sports here at Cloud, like, say, cross country or track and field, where you're not just limited in competition to only seeing JUCO talent. You guys get to wrestle against, D2, D3, NAIA, all these guys that wrestle at all of the different levels. And you've so far been able to make some pretty long trips to Rochester, Minnesota, Des Moines, Iowa, and you've run into a number of schools that you don't usually get an opportunity to see. Has that been pretty exciting for you to see that kind of different talent that, and kind of gauge yourself maybe against, hey, some of these D2 schools and the sort?
Yeah, it's great to see all the different types of competition, just at all these different tournaments. It's nice to go up against these like D2, D1 guys and just go out there and scrap with them and get some takedowns and win.
How do you feel like you're wrestling to this point?
I think I'm wrestling good. I think I definitely have stuff that I can improve on, as always. But I'm pretty pleased with how I've been wrestling so far. I'd like to get my offense going a little bit more, just hone in on some technique stuff. But other than that, I think I'm doing good.
Just 2 more meets for the Cloud County wrestling team before they take an extended break for the holidays. Cloud County going to be heading up to Kearney, Nebraska this weekend to compete in the University of Nebraska-Kearney Eunice Hospitality Open. Matches will start at 9 a.m. on Saturday, November 23rd. And then the final meets or tournament before the holiday break comes on Sunday, December 8th, when Cloud County heads to Hays, Kansas for the Bob Smith Open, hosted by Fort Hays State University. Matches there will begin at 9 a.m. I want to close out with how we close out our show with what I call our final 4 questions. So I will ask you 4 questions. I'll feed them to each of you, and you guys just give me your thoughts. And Mac, I guess I'll start with you. What are the goals this season for you? What are you hoping to accomplish this year?
Me and Easton kind of mentioned, I'm sure we both have the same goal, but it's to come out with the national championship. That's obviously the goal, I'm sure, for every single person in the country, is to be number 1. And so we're working every day to try to achieve that goal.
Do you feel like you have it in you to be able to put together a stronger showcase and performance than what you did last year at Nationals? Yeah,
definitely. I think my technique has gotten a lot better, gotten a lot faster, a lot stronger, smarter. We just got to put it together at the right time at the national tournament.
Easton, for you, do you have similar goals?
Of course, I definitely want to be a national champion. Always looking to be on top, always looking to be the best. Yeah.
Question 2. You guys have competed in wrestling for a long time, as I said, and I know you've wrestled at a pretty high level before, but things get elevated and amplified in college. And you've gone to some tough tournaments to start. The Rochester Yellow Jacket Open to start the season. You just went up to Grandview University in Iowa for the Grandview Open. Easton, in 6 matches that you guys are able to compete in when you're there at the Grandview Open. So, Easton, what is the most challenging aspect of, say, a day like that, of a tournament in which you've got 6 matches? Obviously that means, number 1, you've had some success that you've been able to extend the length of your tournament stay to 6 matches. But tell me a little bit about what is the most challenging aspect of having to compete in a tournament like that.
I would say Grandview is probably one of the toughest places to compete. That place, it's just, you're in an arena, you're in a crowded arena. There's no seating, there's no walkways, so you're warming up, you're bumping into everybody. You basically have to stay in place to warm up. You keep bumping into people if you try to run around. You're also sitting there. The officials have been in there all day. The officials weren't great last week. They missed a bunch of calls. Wrestling all day, at those big tournaments. I I think 2 times within 6 hours, and then you wrestle 4 matches within like 3. And then I think my last match, I didn't even get a warm up before the last one. I went to go get water, came back, had to wrestle, I was up. Those matches are kind of tough, kind of brutal, but you really just kind of dig deep, You got to want to win. You have to have that fight in you, have that dog in you.
What is the most challenging aspect, though? Is it the physical side or the mental side?
I would say the physical side. I kind of always want to win, so I feel like my head is always going to be in it, especially during the tournament days. So if I know I'm still wrestling, I'm still going to be in it that whole day until I, lose out. But the goal is always to win.
Mac, for you, what's the most challenging aspect of some grueling tournaments?
The physical side is really tough. I mean, when you're wrestling 6-7 minute matches, you're going to get fatigued. You're going to get tired. You just got to have the grit to push through that, and you just got to want it more than the guy across from you.
Mac, think back to all your matches, your entire career now to this stage. What has been your favorite wrestling memory?
My favorite wrestling memory? I don't know, probably making it to state for the first time when I was younger. It was a great memory. And just all the hard work paying off for that first time. It was a great feeling.
Easton, for you, what's been your all-time favorite memory?
I would say my junior year, probably, when I got third at state. That was really special to me just because, I was never really too great at wrestling until my, junior year of high school, honestly. And, placing at state, getting third, that really, I think that really made me fall in love with the sport.
Final question here. Easton, I'll start with you. If you get a chance to sit down with any, say, future recruits, kids that are interested in coming to Cloud, want to be a part of the wrestling program, what's the best piece of advice you feel you could give them to kind of let them know what it's like being a college wrestler?
You better come here ready to work hard. I mean, it's brutal. You're in here working hard every day. You're going to push your body to, further than you ever thought you would work. So I would say just come here ready to work hard.
Mac, what about you? What's the best piece of advice you could give them?
Yeah, it's kind of what Easton said. Just be ready to work. It's tough. It's hard. But when you're with your team, it feels a lot better knowing that you're not the only one going through this. You got all your teammates beside you, busting their butts, trying to get better, just like you. So,
I said it was the final question, but I often lie, and I lied. I'm going to ask one more. Easton, what's the future plans post-Cloud County? I know you've still got a long season that remains here, but have you given much thought to what you want to do after your time at Cloud?
Post-Cloud, I would really like for a school to recruit me, I would like to get a good scholarship, maybe go somewhere, wrestle. After that, I would just like to be, a fireman, just work.
Very good. Mac, what about you? What's the future hold for you?
Definitely looking into 4U universities to continue my education and also my wrestling career.
What are you studying?
Business right now.
Very good. Well, I want to wish you both the best. I appreciate you taking time to come on and to visit with us and to talk to us about your season, and good luck this weekend in Kearney, Nebraska. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
My thanks to Easton Boone and Mac Chambers with the Cloud County Community College wrestling team for being our guests this week on T-Bird Talk. The Cloud County Community College women's and men's basketball teams have kicked off Kansas Jayhawk Community College conference play. The Cloud County Community College men opened conference play with a 74-69 overtime win over Seward County Wednesday inside Arley Bryan Gymnasium. The T-Birds now hold a 7-0 record to start the 2024-2025 season. Cloud County will travel to Dodge City this Saturday at 3 p.m. Dodge City earned a 92-76 road win over Garden City in their conference opener Wednesday. The Conquistadors have won 4 straight to sit at 4-3 on the season. The Cloud County Community College women's basketball team secured a 57-53 home win over Seward County in its conference opener Wednesday. The T-Birds remain undefeated and improved to 6-0 with the victory. With the win, Cloud County has won 3 straight home games against the Saints dating back to 2022. The T-Bird women will make their first road trip of the conference season Saturday for a 1 p.m. meeting with Dodge City Community College in Dodge City, Kansas. And then both the Cloud County Community College women's and men's basketball teams will be back in action at home this coming Tuesday when they host the Cougars of Barton Community College in a Jayhawk Conference doubleheader. The women's game will tip at 6, with the men's game to follow at 8 p.m. Of course, all T-Bird home games will be streamed live on the T-Bird Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. Spencer Farha will have the call of this Tuesday's action. You can also listen to the broadcast on 1390 KNCK, 98.3 FM, and ncktoday.com with Austin McNorton on the broadcast. Now, typically, new episodes of T-Bird Talk drop each Thursday, but we will be taking a break next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. We want to wish a happy, joyous, and fun-filled Thanksgiving to all our T-Bird family and friends. We will be back with you in 2 weeks, so make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode of T-Bird Talk. T-Bird Talk is a production of the Cloud County Community College Athletic Department.